Give me a second, guys. If that works. Here's the breakout with SPY. All right, that works. Essentially just watching the market. We have like the positions from yesterday, which are about to get stopped out, I think. And then we have one single put for this high day on QQQ. But at this point, QQQ is up 2.2% and SPY is up 1.1%. And I gave an analysis earlier showing them typically what happens. But right now, I'm just going to do chart requests. And then when we're done with that, I'll go back over the analysis of what I think is happening. But for now, I just want to watch the price action play out while we do some chart reviews. Okay, so let's go to AA. So on AA, essentially you're at the 61% retracement, which I said is the ideal area to buy. You can see that it also created a monthly structure zone. So I think this is literally the easiest part. BAH. I'll take a look. So it created a monthly structure zone at the 61% retracement. If I had to make a quick bias here, I think it's going to break out and go higher. Okay, that would be my bias, just based on this structure zone and it also basing at the 61%. But you have to be mindful that you have to see that it breaks out and be careful if it does. Your stop loss is this monthly low, the gray zone low. What's the risk here? You're looking at 9% risk. So if you did, options for 2027 of March, inside the money, you're looking at maybe 15 to 20% risk. Or you could take a starter. But essentially, this is stopping where it needs to. Your stop loss is a new low. All right, so your stop loss is a break under 42. If your stop loss is a break under 42, where are you looking at the upside? I think the fibs retracements are very easy targets, 23, 38. You have a multi-day demand zone here, or supply zone. This is sitting at the 23. So I think this for 52 is easy, easy money. You know, that's probably a 2-to-1 trade risk. All right. So guys, there you go. You got the break above. We're getting the grind higher in the 1030. I'm going to go ahead and close the other puts. I mean, I don't know where in the heck it's going to go from here. It's up to 2.3%. That's so wild to think that, but it is. Apparently, it wants to break. Man, I don't know. How many dollar move is this one? This is a $15 move. This is a $15 move. This has got to be the top. Yes, 717. It's just wants to hit this. Hmm. Now with SPY, we're at all-time highs, so there's nothing to gauge on that one, other than maybe this SR flip resistance, which would be up to like 768. I'm still holding, guys, just because I was looking for confirmation. I really, because if we look at this, let's measure these moves. So this was average candle range. This was a $19 candle. It's a small candle. And then we got these two candles. It's a $14 candle. This is technically a $14 candle, but this is a major gap up. If we did a $14 candle, we're looking at 721 as the high. $721 is starting to hit the next supply zone, and then where other rejections were. Yeah, we need to be mindful of this 1030 here. If they accept over it, it's going to go to the 521, I believe. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so A, stop loss, new pivot low, 23% fibs, 52 is easy target. That's 12% away. Then you're looking at the 200-day moving average. There's no real structure here except like this SR flip, right? So you're going up into this. So I think a high probability resistance would be this gold right here. I think 23% fibs comes easy. I think this first 12% comes easy. You got to be careful up here. If it can break into this, I mean, there's no real structure here. It's just this. But you got to realize all the people that lost money here, guys. This was a knife drop. This is a fuck you retail. That's what that is. That's a fuck you retail. Right? Like 50% drop. So all these people are going to want to get out. So you're going to have a lot of sell pressure. So I think the 52 is the easy profit. Then you got to be careful. Alex, you got so many. Gold and silver, I think, are bottoming out for a potential rally. You got the pivot low, bullish above it, the pivot low, but then you got to worry about possible head and shoulders. See that? Same thing with silver. Oh wow, PLTR. Is PLTR breaking out of its downtrend from November highs? On PLTR, I'm bearish under 160. Give it like a new high day. Let's say 162. If it accepts above 162, it's breaking out of a bull flag, a major bull flag. But as far as this, you can see every major. So this is the trading channel, and this is a standard deviation under and a standard deviation above. All three standard deviations above has been failure. So let's see if this fails. All right. So in my mind, this is a break above and back test on both of these. They're going to grind higher. You have 1030, you have the break above, back test, and now it's grinding higher. I'm not flipping long. I'm just going to let it finish its move and then figure it out. Yeah. So I went and closed everything, guys. I'll hold the Microsoft for a new high day. But any of these make a new candle high, and then I'm selling them. But I closed the QQQs. You can see that they're just going to grind it higher. They're probably literally going to push it to 721 area, and then we have an actual chance for rejection. And the reason why we have an actual chance for direction or rejection is because you can see historically this is where we got rejections since mid-May. Rejection, rejection. It gapped over here, but then rejected, right? Rejected, rejection, rejection, rejection. So this area, you can literally see, let me not mess that up. You can see this area right here. And this is how we took the AMD trade and it dropped 20 fucking percent. But you can see historically, This zone is rejection zone territory. And we're actually going in it already, but then a $14 candle from this one, if we were to play that game, 708, 718, 722, 721 to 722. So this zone, if we're going to keep playing these big body candles, is 721 to 722. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if this actually gets filled. If this actually gets filled, it's going to be wild. But that's what these two big candles are. $14 candles. We're hitting this overbought territory. Now we just have to see what happens. Most likely going to grind higher. The 1030 strategy that I mentioned to you guys, you're seeing it right here, right? Did I accidentally delete that? Oh, there it is. I just went hourly. You can see the 1030 strategy working. It's either high a day or breakout, go higher. Let's check the mega cap chart. It's hitting weekly supply. That's concerning. And then there's daily supply within weekly right here. Hasn't hit you here yet. Let's check the measured move in the 4 hour and 24 hours. Measured move says exhausted. Oof. Interesting. If that's an ABC, now this could be a wave 3 and we just keep ripping. Let's check without Netflix. Measured move says exhausted. Ooh, this is interesting. Very, very interesting. You're seeing the squeeze though. All right. Amazon's closed. Google's closed. QQQ's closed. I'm all cash on the trading account. These things literally aren't even breaking the the 1 minute bull trend. That's wild. That's how bullish this is. I don't know. I mean, I have to follow the thesis, Peter. Um, all of my levels have been breached to flip me bullish yesterday. We're getting continuation. We just need Bitcoin and Ethereum to play along. But once again, I think what's happening is we're getting a front run of the rally that's to come. So we dip bought this morning on two of our names. They're up, like 1 or 2%, and we're just waiting. I still think that a rally comes at the end of the week. I was expecting like a dip then a rally, but we might not even be getting a dip in the broader market. Riot's another one that's been on my list for the trading plan this week, and it's grinding higher. It even has an inverse head and shoulder setup. Look at the squeeze, guys. It's glorious. .5% on QQQ. That would be a 3% day if it could hit this level. They never once gave us a chance to go long, not without like a reckless entry. Like when Friday, yeah, Monday and Tuesday, it didn't even break the purple line on the 1 minute. And now look how far we are away from it. SPY's starting to literally run into this SR flip from the crash low. So if you look at this, let's clean it up a little bit. Kind of in the middle. If we pull it up here and try to clean it up for this resistance, you can see around this area has been like a channel for rejection or grind higher. It rode up at there, it rode up at there, it rode up at here. But then in the second half of the day or overnight, it'll pull away from it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here as we run into it. They're literally going to squeeze this all the way to 3%. Look at that. All right, back to names. I think gold and silver at a point where their pivot lows are support, right? It's at a level. Jesus. It's at a support level. You can see that the purple line was support here at the beginning of the bull trend and here. Acceptance under is sell off. So you have an opportunity of a bottom here. Once again, you have an opportunity to make money, but it's like how much are you looking on the upside? I can tell you shorts are going to step in here. They're going to try to fill out that head and shoulders. So for the head and shoulders, you're looking at 8%. Once again, Tesla's got more than that. Let's see. NIM, head and shoulders, previous support. It's a place for it to try to rally. You got to realize. So the main thing is that if what is about to happen, everything is going to rally. So everything is at a buyable dip, almost everything at least. So if we get this somewhat of a dip, and then in Thursday and Friday we continue rallying, everything's a buy, right? So this is a buy with the pivot low. You got to be careful. Another head and shoulder setup. But where did it find support previously? At the purple line. We're at the purple line. Pivot lowers your risk. You're looking at 10% risk to the downside. But the thing is, you can look for dips here like tomorrow and Thursday. Because I think like QQQ has to have a red day. They're going to have a red day probably tomorrow or Thursday. And if they do, then these are going to pull back. So you can lower that risk if you just sit on your hands. Today's not, I don't think today is a trade. The next trade attempt I'm going to do is if we get up here. If QQQ gets to 3%, then I'll take another short attempt. And I'm going to do Fridays. So that's not that big of a risk. We risked like 8% there for that breakout. But they have a goal here, and they're going to finish this entire move is what it looks like. And then they're going to consolidate while they distribute funds. They're going to sell all these funds, right? They're going to sell all the money they just made because they just made a lot, and they're going to buy up everything else with it. And PH. I called a bull trap here. It broke below it. I mean, this thing is just had a rough life, brother. You gotta look. Okay. What's the purple line? Resistance, 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 resistance. Right? It broke out. Was it support? Did it SR flip? No, it did not. Where are we at? Possible resistance. Take this one how you will, but everyone's underwater, dude. Even in the last month, everyone that bought this, imagine all these fools that bought it. They're down 52%. Well, what about the halfway? What about the majority of this consolidation? I'll even do the bottom end of it. They're still down 15%. You're going to have pop sellers. If this rallies, you're lucky, but I wouldn't even trade this, dude. Trade Tesla. Like just compound your account with safe names. You only need 9 doubles from $1,000 to be a millionaire. With the volatility that's happened the last 3 years, guys, they're freaking moving. Amazon's up 40% in 5 days. You don't even need these names anymore because they're doing it with mega caps. Look at this. Sorry, 26%. I don't know where I got 40%. 26% on Amazon. Maybe it was Microsoft. 42% with Microsoft. In 5 days. 7 days, whatever. Five trading days. Let's go with that. Right? AMD. 22%. Like the days of needing these shitty stocks to make 50% is over. Right? The days that you need these shitty stocks to make 50%, it's over. Stop. Trade the mega caps. You'll make 50% still. So be careful if you're going to buy this. Everyone's underwater. And the difference is like the people that buy this are not institutions and not the wealthy ones either. Right? And if they do, they're doing it to control liquidity. But when a mega cap enters a buy zone, multiple institutions are buying it that can control price and help with price. Oh, what's going on here? Did QQQ finally break its green trend? Or is it just going to bounce back up? Do we have a top here? What's VIX doing? Ooh, about to get that higher high. If this breaks out, this will actually sell off. Not exactly convinced it'll be a lot, but I'm looking at QQQ 718s to the expiration, 180s. Let's see what happens here. I'm buying at 187. I'm putting a stop loss in at 174. I didn't buy a lot. I just bought 5 contracts, willing to risk $100. We're red from yesterday, so I'm not going to look for some home run play. I'm looking for the white line to be hit. If so, I'll sell 2. This VIX needs to break out in order for us to get the retracement. I think the bigger trade is up here, but I'm willing to risk, $75 to see if we can get a couple $100 move. If not, then we're going to wait for that. But that's why I did a small amount. I just want to see if we can get a play here. If we get the top, it'll be a big directional move of like $4, and we'll make like $1,000 back plus easily, even with a small position like this. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to size up, because right now we're kind of searching for the top, right? We're entering this zone of a probable rejection now that we've, like on the daily time frame for SPY, it's even up 9%, right? So it's a possible we get a little bit of rejection here, but honestly, we'll probably reject and then even grind higher. So if we can just get this white line, this blue cloud, you see this previous support? If we can hit that, we'll probably make a couple $100. We'll leave like one runner. And then we'll put the stop loss at break even, and then that'll be a base hit. And then if we rally up here into the end of the day, then we'll take a short. All right, here's the breakdown. We got like 8% at one point, but I just did 718s today expiration with just 500. It's risking like $75. The cost basis is 184, but I think honestly, I think it's about to get stopped. If it breaks this previous candle, it's going to stop out. My stop loss is like 174. So I bought it at 184. Bought it at 184. Stop loss is at 174. That's 10 pennies. 50 or 5 contracts. It's $50. It's starting to build out inverse head and shoulders, which statistically does not work. But then then we have a head and shoulders over here. Okay, that's a problem. Inverse and then head and shoulders. What's everyone looking at? Most people look at SPY, which is giving me the bias that this is going to rally. Since I have the bias it's going to rally, if you want to sell some of your contracts, you're more than welcome to. I have a $50 risk. I'm willing to risk $50 to make a couple hundred. I wanted to see if we can get this 11:30 turnaround for the back end of the hour. VIX is breaking down rather than breaking out. Realistically, what we need is we need this breakout. If we get this higher high on the VIX, we should see a dump. That was wild. That was 1 penny away from getting stopped out there. And it stopped. There you go. Trickery. It actually filled at 172 though, so I lost like $65. Okay. That was my that was my small little attempt. Now we just wait for the red line. It hit the zone. I didn't know if we'd get like a rejection at the edge of it. And now we're just going to look for the middle. Okay, so names, let's see, NPH. Yeah, I'd be careful here. Know that, a lot of people have lost money. This could be a 5 wave, but it doesn't look like it. So this could be a ABC, which means we go lower. The bull trend had always been the purple line. As soon as it broke it, you're done. Is there anything else? Is there any other? No, there's not. Your best bet is buy in that zone and see what happens so that you're not so far away from a new low. But on the daily time frame, or the weekly time frame, you do have this weekly supply zone. So if you feel like you need to, okay. On the smaller time frame, it does look like it's breaking out. So you have that weekly time frame structure. Let me actually just say that. On the larger time frame, I'd be careful. But on the weekly, you do have the structure zone. We broke out of it. So now this is now demand. So your stop loss is 34.90 and you could target. See, the thing is, this is 2 weeks of supply right here. This is really hard to get through. So what you could see is some sideways bouncing because it needs to delete this, and the people that lost money here, they need to sell out. So it could rally up to the blue line. Blue line probably comes easy, which is 7% away. So blue line probably comes easy here. Be mindful of that. New highs on SPY. Meanwhile, mega caps are breaking down. Tempting too. All right, good there. Let me check Twitter. All right, I'm doing chart requests if anyone wants me to look at any of their names. I can look at AG for Alex. Same thing, Alex. You're seeing a lot of these at that purple line, right? Which means extremely oversold. Essentially, every single name you guys are looking at, the pivot low is your stop loss. No new names in a bull. If we're to be bullish here, guys, let me say it like this. Let me make it very simple. If we are to be bullish here, no new names make a new low. All right. If we are to be bullish here, no new names make a new low. So if your name looks a little bit bullish, your stop loss is a new pivot low. Right. AG's found support, the purple line. It's also a fair value gap right here that it filled a little bit and it's trying to break out here. Now, remember, we've rejected here a few times, so be mindful of that. Do I see anything else? You can also see right here, okay, this is very important. Top, 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 okay? This is your breakout zone, Alex. A break above this level of RSI, a break above 55 is a change in trend. But right now you're at the risk of rejection, right? It's found rejection here, here, and here for major drops. So your RSI is your resistance zone. Yeah, because I mean this is obvious, right? It's showing you right to your face. Top, top, top. So you're at risk at the top until you break these levels, and you'll see it because look at this. If you think about it, it's literally breaking this descending resistance. Now, given it should break out this time, right? Just because we're at the purple line. I wonder if that is anything important. on another time frame. Kind of the red. That's where it's breaking out of right there. You have a 2-month demand zone. Two-month demand zone with the 20 monthly moving average and then the purple line. So fair play, but just be mindful that every single person is underwater since December 2025. So all of 2026, every single person that bought is underwater. So you're going to get sell pressure. What does that mean? If you have that much sell pressure, that means sell at every single resistance level. Every take profit target, you take profit because everyone else is going to. So that if at some point too many people take profit and the supply exceeds the demand and it reverses on you, you're not sitting there holding the bag. All right, guys, let's be mindful here, okay? Got a full daily candle out of the buy zone on Nike. All right, this was our buy this morning. We're up 2.6%. Okay. NEO hit our buy zone. We got a green daily candle. All right. We're up almost 2%. Riot is literally starting to fill out this, guys. Look at this. I'm giving you guys a secret here. I've had this algorithm drawn for literally almost a year. If you look at it, the pivot tree is almost flawless. It identifies every top and bottom of Riot. Right? There's a little bit of overperformance here, but you can see we're running out of this correction zone. You can literally see the price action is doing exactly what happens. What happens next? We are entering a parabolic phase of Riot. I think Riot is about to rally. You should have some, okay? You should have at least a starter. Buy one contract, buy one call, right? January 2027, $25 calls. March 2027, $25 call. Buy one. So that if it starts ripping without you, you're not sitting on nothing. You can see it right now. It's respecting it. Demand zone rallied out of it. Demand zone rallied out of it. I'm sure that's on a 4-hour time frame. Yep, right here. Demand zone rallied out of it. We're starting to break out. We have an inverse head and shoulders. What did I say would happen? I think at the second half of this week, we rally hard. What's attempting to happen? Right? Measured move, even if this is an ABC. Measured move, even if this is an ABC. $26. Back to the resistance line. BABA is making a new high. This is one of our major positions. Okay. Tesla from our 308, struggling a little bit. MSTR breaking out of our buy zone. We got the trigger Friday. I said you could even add down here yesterday. We have all this structure, right? You got descending resistance here. If this breaks out, you're going to see a squeeze. It'll probably be over 6%. Where is it at right now? It's up 1.6. This will probably be a 5 or 6% day if we break out of here. I am of the bias that the MSTR, Ethereum, and Bitcoin bottom is in for 2026. You're 17 away from a bottom. 17%. Okay. You know how hard it is to snipe a bottom by 17%? And what I mean by that is in the grand scheme of things, even right now is a buy. If your outlook is over a year, even right now is a buy, right? you're looking at 17% risk for a new high, 470%. What's the RR on that? Let's play the game. What's the RR on that? 16? No, it wasn't. Okay. $30 to 1. 30 to 1. This is wild, guys. VIX trying to break out. Oh, VIX broke out. You see that? Looking at QQQ puts. 719s at 188. I'm buying them. About 5 again. Come on, VIX, do something this time. It's turning me into a bad trader. About 188 cost basis. Remember, I'm only in 5 contracts. I'm not looking for some big size home run. I'm looking for a top. And right now it's a little rough. Like, I should be waiting for the red zone, but we're getting a VIX breakout here. And technically we are in the weekly supply zone. This is just precision top. So I'm willing to risk, $50 to $100 here and there. We lost $65 on the last try. Because if this gives us a $5 move, those options will go 300%. what the daily candle looks like. We have a daily structure here, and we're breaking out of it. If VIX keeps rallying and these names rally, it's because they really, really want this level. If QQQ reclaims this red line, while VIX is making higher highs, they literally want that red zone that I'm warning of. It's fighting tooth and nails to make 10%. It's wild. Putting a stop loss for 174. That's $55 loss on the risk. Okay, it filled. All right. Another knife cut. All right. So essentially, I think they want the red zone. I'm gonna go ahead and step away from the computer so I don't get faked out anymore. Not that big of a deal that we lost another $110. Just remember also, if you can't afford this, like even $50 risk, don't even do 5 contracts. Don't match me if you don't have my bankroll. I'm gonna wait for this red zone now. Hopefully we don't get faked out, but that's another $2. And the way these options are moving, it's like $2 would be 50%, 60% loss. So we can't stay in them. But as you can see a little bit of a rejection here with VIX. I think something happens before Thursday. I think we get a dump. It's just, when does it come? So far, our 1030 strategy is working on the upside. Could have went long, probably should have. But it is what it is. Once again, Nike, NEO buy zones were triggered today. So we're in Nike, NEO, Tesla, BABA, and MSTR, and everything is green. So be mindful of that. If we get up here, I'm going to try one more trade. Once again, it's going to be light size. I think the bigger move when I'll size up is if we can get a dip. But I thought QQQ would reject this level right here. But it literally just said sayonara. So this might be where we retrace to be honest. Let's see. Let's move up here if they close that. VPOC edge, VPOC edge, VPOC. Relevant, irrelevant. This was my original thesis on weekly high. That's invalidated. This is really starting to look like 50% fib at this point, I feel like would be too much of a dip. We might see the weekly high SR flip because then that would also be the breakout retest of this. What we got here? 2%. That's not bad. There is a demand zone here. We have the mega cap chart. The measured move is up here, so it's got a little bit left. So they also have the weekly. But we'd be sitting a lot prettier if just the rest of the market moves. Once the rest of the market participates, we'll be sitting quite well. We just need our stocks to move, 10 to 20%. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the stream for the X.